Good morning. It's still Saturday morning for me as I've been working on some reflection and just like thinking through creating this video series that would be helpful for some of you and to let you know that this is some of the work that we do at Compass PD. We help districts create long-range plans that are systematic and make sense. So hopefully what you've seen is the kickoff video. I hope that you've watched the sweet spot, how we start this work, and then we moved into the third video, which was start with the why. And this video is going to be about creating a curriculum cycle and a professional learning cycle, like a professional development cycle. And so it's just super brief. We bring tons of research when we come in, and with your district, we make sure that we align with your values and that work and in doing that and what your cycles are like. And so know that this is just a quick overview of just some of the things that you could be considering or some of the things that you could give us a call to have come help you with. So I'm going to jump right into my .cam really quick. And I want to share with you, I tried to start just sketching some of this out so that I wasn't spending a lot of time sketching in front of you. So what I did, and this is just an elementary cycle, hopefully at a district level, you have a document that has all of your curricula, elementary, middle, and high, so that you can look at those in a way that just helps you kind of make sense and plan things. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And so when I was working with this particular district, they were actually, what we did was list out like all of their curricula, and then we created something that could be a really great start. And so the thing that we were stepping into, they had already purchased, and they were implementing their reading curriculum in 21-22. Okay, so we knew that, and when you develop a curriculum cycle, the purpose of the curriculum cycle is that you're not overwhelming teachers where everything's brand new, and it helps you align resources like time and money, a curriculum cycle and a professional learning cycle, so that things are systematically happening versus being reactive. You're being very proactive with it. So they were purchasing and implementing, and they know that they need a writing program to support that. So this year they're going to review and pilot a program, okay? And then next year they're going to purchase and implement. They hadn't at this time really kind of thought out what their cycle was going to be for sure. So we just kind of sketched one out to support them. So then this year, you'll see that we'll just kind of go down. They were going to possibly review and pilot math, and then purchase and implement here, okay? Then this year, review and pilot, purchase and implement, review and pilot, purchase and implement here. Okay, so this is where, you know, they knew with this purchase and implementation phase, that's where it gets really incredibly expensive. So they wanted to make sure that that was kind of spread out. And then working with elementary teachers, they know that they're going to be starting a new something every year, which is pretty typical. Or you could even spread this out 2 years. Every 2 years, we're purchasing and implementing something new. But this just gives you just a little bit of a taste of what a curriculum cycle this isn't even really like a curriculum cycle. So when we're reviewing and piloting, what we're doing is we're thinking about, like, we're looking at research, we're looking at best practice, we're looking at standards, we're looking at data, past data, we're looking at quantitative data, qualitative data, we're looking at trends, We're looking at all of these things. And so that's really important in this review and pilot cycle. And so what we did is we started thinking about things that we felt were really important for a professional development cycle. And so we wanted best practices to be a part of that. And so one of the things in best practices would be instructional methods. We knew under best practices, they needed to look at standards and unpack, right? So those were things that were really important to be early on in this review and pilot phase when it came to thinking about best practices. We also in this phase wanted to make sure that we were talking about the why and the what as we started developing that, as we were researching and piloting. And then we wanted to try to think about, as we were unpacking standards, would it be possible to think about progressions of learning and how that would look, right? So that was something that we really wanted to talk about. Now, they had already purchased and implemented prior to us being able to do the best practice PD. So for this particular district, we were going to need to get started on best practice PD and product PD. So it makes it a little tricky trying to do all of it at once or come back and do that. So if you can do this in this like review and pilot phase, when you purchase and implement, so I am a fan of purchasing product after we review and we look at best practices and we think about those instructional methods. So next thing that you're going to do is need to think about your product PD. So what product are you going to purchase? What program are you going to purchase? And then how do we do that? And then so the next year, we will purchase and we're going to implement it, but we also, when we purchase and implement it, we need product PD, right? Like what are we purchasing? What are we implementing? So we need product professional development. Okay. After that, we start to think about like implementing best practices with the product. So in here with product, and here's where we think about like, and this is for this particular questions 1 and 2 from PLC, our PLC questions 1 and 2. And we think about that and we think about how are we using the knowledge, what do we want students to know? And then what are we going to do? How are we going to know if they know it, right? Like, so how are we going to know? What kind of data are we going to collect? Is it going to be quantitative data, qualitative data? What kind of data could instructional leaders be looking for as they're studying their classrooms? So then another part of this PD cycle is going to be like responsive teaching and coaching. And so this is going to be where we look at PLC questions 3 and PLC question 4. So in this PLC number 3 and number 4. And this is where we start like designing the plan. So this is like year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, responsive teaching and coaching. And then there's lots of other things that you could consider in your cycle. Like you could spend years on responsive teaching and coaching, right? So that could be ×2. Other things that you're going to want to make sure that are in the professional learning cycle are instructional method or instructional strategies. Think Marzano, think CITW. I think another thing that I would like inside of a high quality professional learning cycle are assessment practices. Sorry that my circles are getting smaller. It doesn't mean that they're not of value. It's just the way that I did it. And then you could also do some PLC, like just specific PLC work. So that could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. You could develop an 8-year curriculum cycle and then align the professional learning cycle to go with the curriculum cycle. And bada boom, bada bing, you have a plan. So I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great day.